Alright, so what we got here is I'm doing some conservation work on my British World War I entrenching tool head. It was really munged up with a lot of cosmoline and active rust and just a lot of gunk. I could barely even read the date, which you can see is, you can read it now. So what I'm doing here is I'm using boiling water on a hot plate down here in the workshop just to convert the active rust to black rust, which is essentially gun blue. Alright, so it's been boiling in here for about 15 minutes or so, and as you can see, the water is just this nasty brown color, bronze brown color, and that's from just all the mung that was on there. Now this is hot. I mean, it's been boiling in there and absorbing that heat, so it's actually really easy to dry it off. Once you take it out, the heat just, see that? The water just evaporates off. And what you're left with, so I don't know if you can see that, that just like really fine ochre colored, velvety, soft color. It's just a covering of rust that's just risen to the surface. That's what happens after you boil. I'm going to put this here just to keep drying. Shit, I'm trying to do this one-handed here. Leave that there to dry. Get the cover back on here. It's just a piece of thin aluminum. And then what I'll do with this guy is I'll let him dry off. It's already pretty much dry. And then I will use this really fine wire wheel to card off that mung and polish it up. And then we'll just boil it again and again until, for the most part, it gets smooth and all this rust is taken off. This is a really soft wire wheel. I mean, if you want to see how soft this thing is, I mean, it's a very soft wire wheel. If you can't do that with your wire wheel when you're doing this, then you got the wrong kind of equipment. This is not a finish removal device. This is just something that you're going to lightly polish this piece with. And as you can see, my contraption is not very complex here. Alright, boiling round 2. So this is after 2 rounds of boiling each end for about half an hour, and then I went through and just carded off everything that was on it. And as you can see, this metal has really come back. And now the very last step is to take something like, let's see, what do we got here? Some 3-in-1 oil, and just slather this thing in a nice heavy coat of 3-in-1, and then just leave it just oiled up like that, for an hour or two. Just let that oil seep into all the nooks and crannies, stop any other rust that's left. And there it is. It's just going to sit like that. We got a nice thick coat of 3-in-1 oil on there. I use 3-in-1 because it's cheap, it's all purpose, and it seems to solidify a new rust blue finish really well. So it's just going to sit like that for a little while. And there you go. As you can see, it's not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. But, it's got this great patina to it. It doesn't look like it's been restored or refinished. It just looks like it's been cleaned up. You can even see the broad arrow acceptance stamp right there. And, here's the maker's mark, crisp, perfectly readable. None of that was really visible before I cleaned all the grease and rust and mung off of this guy. And, the more I look at it, like the edge here, it doesn't really look like it's been used. And this over here, this edge is still sharp, a great condition. The more I think, a lot of this pitting is actually part of the forging process, especially in 1918. They would have been just turning this thing, turning these helve handle tools out like crazy, and fit and finish really wasn't as important. You can see it was just ground off in the back, and the lack of use on this thing makes me think that a lot of this pitting is actually just due to the manufacturing process. So, I think we were able to really save this from any further decay, and it'll last another 102 years, no problem. So now it's going to go right in here, right in its pouch. And eventually I'll do a video on my PO8 gear here, but that'll be for another day. As of now, let's put this back. Come on, one-handed sucks. I gotta get a better filming setup, I swear to God. There we go. You just got to do the maintenance. Easy.